Before the noise begins, before the headlines, before the alerts, before the weight of the world settles again on your chest, pause here for a moment. You don't need to understand everything right now. You don't need to be strong yet. You just need to be present. This morning, many wake up with a quiet tension they can't fully explain. Nothing has happened yet, but the heart already feels tight. The mind feels alert, almost bracing itself, as if danger could arrive at any moment. News, weather warnings, uncertainty, constant updates. They leave the soul tired before the day even begins. And God sees that. He sees the fear that doesn't shout but whispers. He sees the anxiety that comes not from imagination, but from living in a world that feels unstable. He sees the weight you carry simply by being aware. So now, gently, we come into the presence of God. Father God, this morning we do not come pretending everything feels calm. We come as we are, with minds that feel overloaded, with hearts that feel alert instead of rested, with souls that woke up already processing too much. You are not offended by our honesty. You welcome it. Lord, before we face the world, we choose to face you. We acknowledge that fear has been knocking, not always loudly, but persistently. Fear of what might happen. Fear of what we cannot control. Fear stirred by what we hear, what we read, what we see. But this morning, we pause the noise and place our awareness in your presence. Your word reminds us that you are not a God of confusion, but of peace. Not a God who reacts to chaos, but one who rules over it. Before storms form, before news breaks, before uncertainty spreads, you already are. So we breathe here, God. We slow the body. We soften the mind. We allow this moment to be a shelter. This morning is not about having answers. It is about remembering who holds them. And as this prayer begins, we choose a different starting point. Not fear, not speculation, not overload, but trust. Quiet trust. Intentional trust. A trust that doesn't deny reality, but places reality into your hands. We are here, Lord. We are listening, and we are ready to begin this day anchored in you. Before this day moves forward, before your hands reach for your phone again, before your eyes meet another headline, another alert, another warning, we pause here. This is intentional, because fear grows fastest when it is consumed before it is confronted. And this morning, you are not here to be ruled by fear. You are here to place it down. God, you see how the world speaks loudly before we even leave our beds. News notifications, weather warnings, rumors of danger, uncertainty layered on top of uncertainty. Our minds wake up already bracing for impact, already scanning for what might go wrong, already preparing to defend ourselves against things we cannot control. But this morning, we choose a different posture. We bring every unspoken worry into your presence, the fear that something bad might happen today, the anxiety that the world feels unstable, the heaviness that comes from hearing too much, knowing too much, and feeling powerless to change it all. Lord, we are not denying reality. We are refusing to let fear interpret it for us. You are not surprised by storms, not by weather, not by crises, not by sudden changes in the world around us. While the earth reacts, you remain steady. While systems shake, you do not move. While fear spreads quickly, your peace moves deep. And this morning, we place our trust, not in information, but in your sovereignty. God, quiet the part of our minds that wants to catastrophize before anything has happened. Silence the inner voice that rehearses disaster. Interrupt the cycle of anxiety that tells us we must stay on edge to stay safe. Teach our hearts that vigilance is not the same as panic, and awareness does not require fear. Right now, we choose to release what we cannot carry. We release the illusion that we must be in control to be protected. We release the burden of trying to anticipate every possible outcome. We release the pressure to be emotionally braced for everything at once. You never asked us to live that way. Lord, cover our thoughts with calm discernment. Let wisdom guide what we consume to give us the strength to step away when information becomes noise, when updates become overwhelming, when fear tries to disguise itself as preparedness. We want to be informed, not enslaved. aware but anchored. And if fear has already settled deep in the body, tight shoulders, shallow breath, restless thoughts, we invite your peace there now, not later, not when circumstances improve. Now, let peace move through the nervous system. Let calm settle into the chest. Let the heart remember that it does not face this day alone. If this prayer resonates with you, take a quiet moment right now and simply acknowledge it, even silently, saying, I release fear into God's hands. This is not avoidance. This is truth. And as we continue, we move forward, not ignoring the world, but grounded in the one who holds it. As this morning continues, we acknowledge something honestly, without shame. It is hard to feel steady when the world feels unpredictable, when the weather shifts suddenly, when the news changes by the hour, when voices compete to tell us what to fear next. Even strong hearts can feel ungrounded in moments like these. And God, you see that tension inside us. Somewhere between yesterday and today, our sense of safety became fragile. We wake up checking conditions instead of checking our breath. We scan for threats before we scan our own souls. We brace ourselves emotionally, as if peace was something fragile that must be protected from the outside world. But this morning, you remind us of a deeper truth. True stability does not come from calm surroundings. It comes from a grounded heart. Lord, anchor us now, not in certainty about outcomes, but in trust about your presence. Anchor us in the truth that even when circumstances shift, you do not. Even when forecasts change, you remain faithful. Even when systems fail, you are still holding all things together. We do not need the world to feel safe in order to be safe with you. There are people praying this prayer right now who feel disoriented. They feel like they're living on edge, always adjusting, always reacting, always preparing for impact. God, meet them. Gently remind them that stability is not something they must manufacture. It is something they receive. You are not asking us to stand firm by our own strength. You are offering to be the ground beneath our feet. This morning we choose to place our weight on you, not partially, not cautiously. We lean our anxious thoughts, our tired vigilance, our constant scanning into your care. We stop trying to emotionally predict the day before it arrives. We release the habit of bracing for what might go wrong, and we allow your presence to steady us from the inside out. God, teach us how to move through uncertainty without being consumed by it. Show us how to stay alert without becoming afraid. Help us to respond wisely instead of reacting emotionally. Let discernment replace dread. Let peace replace panic. Let trust replace the need to know everything in advance. If there is a storm outside today, literal or metaphorical, remind us that storms do not get the final word. They pass, they shift, they lose strength, but and because you remain, we do not have to live in constant anticipation of danger. We can live present, rooted, aware, yet calm. Right now, if your heart feels unsettled, pause for a second and breathe slowly. Let your body feel support. Let your mind rest in this truth. You are not floating through chaos alone. You are held, you are grounded. And as we continue this prayer, we move forward with steadiness, not because the world is calm, but because God is with us. God, as this day unfolds, we recognize how easily our peace can be interrupted. A single notification, a breaking update, a message passed from one person to another. Fear does not always arrive loudly. Sometimes it slips in quietly, disguised as concern, responsibility, or the need to stay informed. And before we realize it, our hearts are racing again. This morning we make a conscious choice. Before the next headline, before the next alert, before the next wave of information reaches us, we choose trust, not blind trust in circumstances, but grounded trust in you. Because information changes quickly, but your character does. News cycles move fast, but your faithfulness remains constant. Lord, help us notice when our peace is being negotiated away, when we trade calm for constant updates, when we feel pressure to stay emotionally alert at all times, as if rest were irresponsible. Teach us that wisdom includes knowing when to pause, when to step back, when to protect the inner space where you speak gently. Some of us have learned to live in a state of low-grade fear without even realizing it. We call it being realistic. We call it being prepared. But underneath, it drains us. It keeps the body tense, the mind overactive, the spirit fatigued. God, we bring that pattern to you now. We ask you to interrupt it with truth. You have never asked us to carry the weight of the world on our shoulder. You have never asked us to process every crisis personally. You have never required us to stay anxious in order to be faithful. This morning, we release the false belief that worry equals responsibility. We choose to be responsible without being consumed. Lord, guard our hearts today. Guard our thoughts as they encounter conversations, headlines, forecasts, and opinions. Let us filter what we hear through your presence, not through fear. Give us discernment to know what deserves our attention and what needs to be released immediately into your hand. If there are real concerns ahead, safety, travel, weather, decisions, we do not ignore them. We simply refuse to let fear lead the way. We invite you to guide us step by step, moment by moment. We trust that when action is needed, you will make it clear. Until then, we rest. Right now, we say this quietly but firmly. Fear does not decide how this day begins. Trust does, peace does, presence does. And as we continue forward, we remain anchored, not because the world is predictable, but because God is faithful, attentive, and near. Lord, as we step deeper into this day, we bring you the tension that lives beneath the surface, the sense that something might go wrong, the instinct to stay guarded, the habit of scanning for danger, even in ordinary moments. So many of us have learned to live in a state of constant alert, believing that if we relax, we risk being caught off guard. But this morning, you invite us into a different way of living. You are our protection, not our anxiety, not our hypervigilance, not our constant anticipation of. Protection does not come from staying tense. It comes from being covered. And right now, we place ourselves fully under your care. God, cover us today. Cover our homes, our families, our movements, our decisions. Cover those traveling, those working outdoors, those facing uncertain conditions. We ask for safety not from fear, but from trust. We ask for protection not as a reaction to panic, but as an act of surrender. We believe you are attentive to every detail of this day. There are people praying this prayer who feel exhausted from always being on guard. Their bodies are tired, their minds are overstimulated, their spirits long for rest, but don't know how to let go. Lord, teach us that rest is not neglect, it is faith. It is trusting that you remain watchful even when we are not. We release the belief that danger is waiting around every corner. We release the internal alarm that never fully turns off. We release the pressure to anticipate every possible problem. You are not asking us to live that way. You are asking us to walk with you, not ahead of you. If there are real risks today, we trust you to guide us wise. If there are decisions to make, we trust you to provide clarity. If there are moments of uncertainty, we trust you to be present. We do not need to stay tense to stay safe. We need to stay connected. Lord, let your peace become our shield. Let your presence calm our nervous system. Let our breathing slow as our trust deepens. Let our thoughts soften as your protection settles over us. Today, we choose to move through the world aware, but not afraid, responsible, but not burdened. And if this prayer is speaking to your heart, take a moment to acknowledge it, even quietly, by saying, I am protected without being afraid. Let that truth settle in you as we continue, grounded not in constant alert, but in the steady care of God. This morning we bring you something deeper than thoughts. We bring you what the body has been carrying, because fear does not live only in the mind. It settles in the chest, it tightens the shoulders, it shortens the breath, it keeps the body braced, even when the danger is only implied, only imagined, only anticipated. You see the physical toll of uncertainty. You see how constant exposure to warnings, forecasts, and urgent language leaves the nervous system overstimulated. Many who are praying right now don't feel afraid in words. They feel it in their bodies. Restlessness, fatigue, tension that doesn't release. And Lord, you care about that too. So this morning we ask you to minister not only to our thoughts, but to our body. Bring calm where there has been tightness. Bring ease where there has been strain. Bring steadiness where the body has learned to stay ready for impact. Teach our systems that it is safe to slow down in your presence. We pause here intentionally. We breathe slowly. We let the shoulders drop. We unclench what has been holding on all night. Because peace is not just a belief, it is an experience, and you offer it freely. God, retrain our responses. When uncertainty appears, let our first instinct be connection, not contraction. Let our bodies learn that trust is a place they can live in. Let our hearts remember that they are not alone in this world, not unprotected, not abandoned to chance. Some people listening have lived through real danger before: storms, loss, emergence. Their bodies learn to stay alert for survival. Lord, honor that history and gently show them that today is not yesterday, that this moment is different, that your presence here and now makes space for healing. We invite you to calm the inner alarms that no longer serve, not to make us careless but to make us whole, not to disconnect us from reality, but to reconnect us to peace. Let your spirit move through us like steady ground beneath shaking feet. Right now, if you feel tension anywhere in your body, acknowledge it without judgment, then release it into God's care. You don't have to force calm, you only have to allow it. And as we continue this prayer, we move forward carrying less tension, less vigilance, less weight, trusting that God is holding what we no longer need to carry alone. Lord, as we move further into this morning, we face a habit that has quietly shaped many of us. The habit of anticipating the worst. We wake up already rehearsing problems that have not happened. We imagine outcomes we cannot predict. We mentally prepare for losses, delays, dangers, and disappointments, believing that if we expect the worst, we will suffer less. But instead, we suffer twice. Today, we bring that pattern into the light, not with guilt, but with honesty. God, you see how anticipation has drained our joy, our energy, our capacity to be present. You see how it steals today by borrowing fear from tomorrow. And this morning, you invite us to live differently. Teach us how to walk through this day as it actually unfolds, not as our fears imagine it. Help us to stay grounded in what is real, not what is hypothetical. When our minds begin to race ahead, gently bring us back to this breath, back to this moment, back to your presence. Lord, remind us that preparing for disaster does not create safety, it creates exhaustion. You have never asked us to live braced for impact. You have asked us to trust you step by step, 1 hour at a time, one decision at a time, one breath at a time. If challenges come today, we trust that you will meet us there, not before, not after, but in the moment we need you. We do not need to emotionally arrive at every possible outcome in advance. We only need to remain connected to you now. God, retrain our inner dialogue. When fear says, "What if everything goes wrong?" Teach us to respond, "What if God is already there?" When anxiety says, "Be ready for the worst," teach us to answer, "I am already held." When the mind spirals, anchor it back to truth. For those whose days have been shaped by constant crisis, news cycles, emergencies, global instability, we ask for a reset, a holy interruption of the fear narrative. Let hope quietly take its place, not loud optimism, but steady confidence that you are present, capable, and faithful. And if you feel this pattern in yourself, take a moment and acknowledge it, without shame. Then release it. Say quietly, "I choose to live this day as it comes." This is not denial, this is trust. And as we continue, we move forward lighter, no longer carrying tomorrow's fear into today's grace. God, as we approach the heart of this morning, we come to a quiet realization. This day does not begin with uncertainty for you. Before we opened our eyes, before the world started speaking loudly, before forecasts, alerts, or conversations unfolded, you are already present, already ahead. We often feel like we are walking into the unknown, but you are not discovering this day as it happens. You are not reacting, you are not adjusting plans. You are steady, attentive, and fully aware of every hour that lies before us. And this truth changes how we step forward. So today we place this entire day into your hands, not just the parts we can manage, not just the moments that feel calm. We give you the uncertain hours, the conversations we don't yet know how to handle, the conditions we cannot predict, the news we have not yet heard. We trust that nothing will catch you off guard. Lord, teach us to walk with a settled heart, even when the path ahead is unclear. Help us to remember that clarity does not always come in advance. Sometimes it comes as we move. Sometimes it comes only when the next step is taken, and that is enough. If there are storms today, outside or within, we trust that you are already present there. If there are decisions to make quickly, we trust that you will provide calm discernment. If there are moments that feel heavy or overwhelming, we trust that your strength will meet us there, exactly when needed. God, free us from the pressure of needing to know everything before we begin. Free us from the fear that uncertainty means danger. Remind us that walking by faith does not mean walking blindly. It means walking with you. For those who feel especially vulnerable this morning, remind them that they are not exposed. They are not unprotected. They are not walking alone into a threatening world. They are stepping into a day already held by God. Right now, take a quiet moment and imagine placing this entire day, every hour, every task, every unknown, into God's care. You don't have to manage it all. You don't have to anticipate it all. You only have to walk forward with trust. And as we continue, we do so knowing this truth. The God who goes before us also walks beside us. God, as this morning prayer continues, we notice how much pressure exists to move fast, to react quickly, to respond immediately, to stay ahead of everything that might happen. The world rewards urgency, speed, and constant reaction, but our souls were not designed to live that way, and you never asked us to rush through life in fear of falling behind. This morning we choose a slower, truer pace, not laziness, not avoidance, but intentional presence. We acknowledge that urgency often feeds anxiety, and haste often amplifies fear. So today we ask you to help us walk instead of run, to breathe instead of brace, to listen instead of react. Lord, teach us that calm is not weakness, that slowness can be wisdom, that pausing can be obedient. When the world demands immediate emotional reactions to news, to forecasts, to conversations, remind us that we are allowed to respond thoughtfully, prayerfully, gently. Some people listening feel pressured to keep up with everything: information, expectations, responsibility. God, lift that weight. Show them that their value is not measured by speed, by productivity, or by how quickly they react to crisis. Their worth is secure in you. Help us today to notice moments of peace without rushing past. Help us to give our full attention to what is actually in front of us, instead of being mentally pulled into what might happen next. Let our nervous systems learn a new rhythm, one shaped by trust instead of urgency. If the day becomes loud, remind us that we can return inward. If fear tries to hurry us, remind us that you are not in a rush. If anxiety tries to push us forward too fast, anchor us back into the present moment. Right now, take a quiet breath and say, even silently, I do not need to rush today. Let that permission settle in. This day does not require panic to be lived well. And as we continue, we move forward at a pace shaped by peace, guided by presence, and held by God. God, as we come to the end of this morning prayer, we do not close it with answers, forecasts, or guarantees about what will happen today. We close it with something deeper: trust. Not because everything feels resolved, but because you remain present even when the world feels uncertain. This morning we release the need to control outcomes. We release the habit of scanning for danger. We release the belief that fear keeps us safe. Instead, we place this day, hour by hour, moment by moment, into your hands. Hands that are steady, hands that are faithful, hands that have never lost hold of what truly matters. For those waking up feeling uneasy because of the news, the weather, the alerts, or the general instability of the world, Let this prayer be a quiet shelter, not a denial of reality, but a grounding within it. Remind them that while many things shift, while circumstances change, your presence remains constant. Today, help us move through our responsibilities without carrying unnecessary dread. Help us engage with the world wisely, but not fearfully, informed but not overwhelmed, present but not consumed. Let discernment replace panic. Let replace overreaction. If unexpected things arise today, meet us there. If plans change, remain with us. If fear returns, gently remind us of this moment, the moment we chose to begin the day, anchored, not alarmed. We do not ask that nothing difficult happen. We ask that nothing difficult happen alone. Walk with us into every space this day, leads, stand with us in conversations, decisions, waiting, and rest. As this prayer ends, let its effect continue. Let our bodies stay softer. Let our thoughts stay clearer. Let our hearts stay steadier. And let this day unfold under the quiet assurance that we are not navigating uncertainty by ourselves. We step into this morning, not fearless but faithful, not rushed but rooted, not controlled by what we hear, but guided by who you are.